Have you guys ever realized that there is just a certain amount of bloodlines that everyone you fight in this game, they always use them? Well, this video is about that. In this video is going to be the top 10 bloodlines that everyone uses in Shindo Life. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, and get right to the video. Also, by the way, as you guys can tell, I do have my background here. I have my beautiful Shiba Inu, Lulu the pineapple, and I do have Indy the hermit crab behind me, and I have lights. It's a fish. Failed, obviously. Alright, so coming in 10th place on the top 10 bloodlines that everyone uses is going to be Ryuji Kenichi. This one's here, obviously, because people actually really like using this for the mode specifically. Now, it was actually nerfed and it got hit by a major nerf. So since it was majorly nerfed, people don't really use it that much anymore, hence why it's going to be in 10th place on this list, because people still do use it, but it's not nearly as much as before, just because of the nerfs that happened to Ryuji Kenichi. It's really not that good anymore, all things considered, and it's not new either. So it's not, popular because it's new, and it's not popular because it's good. So it's kind of just fallen out of the meta, but people still tend to use this quite a bit just because it's a very cool bloodline. But you're a nerd if you use this bloodline, by the way. And coming in 9th place is going to be Shindai Akuma. Now, Shindai Akuma is coming in a solid 9th place because Shindai Akuma, people really like to use the first move and the Q-spec, obviously. This is for good reason. They're very good abilities. Now, Shindai Akuma in general has always been popular, whether it was popular because it was terrible or popular because it was overpowered. There's not really any happy medium ground for it, but it has always been popular for one reason or another, and it still is to this day. People tend to use Shindai Akuma a lot, and I don't fault them for it because the clones, like I said, they're extremely good. Like, they will do tons of damage to you, and it's unavoidable if you hit them. So you're basically just gonna get whammed with a bunch of samurai spirits, you know what I'm saying? Now, coming in 8th place is going to be Typhoon. Now, Typhoon's going to be on here simply because, people tend to use it for PvP and PvE. In PvE content, people like to use Typhoon quite a bit because it does do a lot of damage with clones, but people actually use it in PvP as well because it does actually stack on multiple people, and you can use it on one person too, and it still does a lot of damage. So Typhoon really has like a lot of versatility as a bloodline, hence why it's going to be used by a lot of people. Like, a lot of people in this game, even if they don't have a bloodline bag, usually always have an EKG, and my guess is that it's probably Typhoon if they're actually doing PvE and PvP content, both of them, because it's good for both. Have you ever gotten 80th spin rarity and gotten something like just atomic? Well, that's because you haven't hit the like button on this video yet. If you hit the like button on this video, you're guaranteed to get 10 million times luck, 100%. Now, coming to 7th place is going to be Ryan Gaiden. Now, obviously, Ryan Gaiden was fixed, thankfully. The Bloodline slot thing. I can understand why people would want it there, but it made it terrible. Like, the Bloodline was quite literally unusable in that state. It still is a little bit bad, but it's definitely a lot better now it's in the element slots, that's for sure. But now that it's moved back to element slots, people are starting to use it again, not nearly as much as it was pre-nerf. Like, they nerfed it and didn't give it any buffs, so obviously people are going to just drop the Bloodline overall, but it still is quite used because it is a very fun Bloodline to use. And I think the fact that it's fun and still semi-decent definitely makes it, a Bloodline that a lot of people are going to use in this game. Hence why a lot of people use it. Now, coming to 6th place, it's going to be Bruce Kenichi. Now, this is going to be in here simply because it is very new. A lot of people are using this because it's new. It's not like a rework. It was an entirely new bloodline. So I'm pretty sure Bruce is the newest bloodline in the game that isn't a rework. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll actually check right now. Yeah, Bruce is actually the newest bloodline in the game that wasn't a rework. So it still is popular because it is, in fact, the newest bloodline. And it also is kind of okay. I mean, it's really not that great. I would give it like a 6 out of 10 on the rating scale, mostly because of the combo extending potential, but it is an okay bloodline. It is new, and it also is extremely fun to use. It has very good visual effects, so that's why it's going to be used by a lot of people. But that's my guess. Now, coming to 5th place is going to be Vengeance / Sun Knight. Now, Vengeance, Sun Knight, both of these, obviously, they used to be insanely powerful. Now they're just kind of mid, but people tend to still use it quite a bit because they have it from when it was good. So people without bloodline bag or people that spent all the row coins on this and stuff like that, they're still going to use it, obviously, because they spent all of their stuff getting it before it was heavily nerfed because of the meta change. It wasn't nerfed exactly that hard, but the meta change actually made the bloodline a lot worse. Obviously, the auto dodge changes and stuff like that. But even with the changes, people still tend to use this a lot because a lot of people had it before the fact, and people still using it because it's not that bad. Now, coming to 4th place is going to be Bankai Akuma. Now, this one's pretty obvious. I'm sure you guys could hop into any server of Shindo Life and immediately see a Bankai Akuma user, just because of the stun. People only ever use the stun of Bankai 99% of the time. If there's a black bubble around them and they don't teleport to them, it's Bankai. Like 99.99999% of the time, it is Bankai Kuma stun. That many people use it, literally. Like if someone has a stun with that effect, 99.9% of the time, they're literally using Bankai. Like I'm not even lying by saying that. If I get hit by that type of stun, I'm like, oh man, I just got Bankai stun, even if I don't even know what they're using. That's how overused this bloodline is, in my opinion. Now coming to third place, it could be Naramaki 6 Pass. So this one's pretty obvious. It's honestly just here because it's really, really good. It has a lot of different effects that are actually quite good as well. I also think it's a really fun bloodline. They are starting to nerf it a bit, which is a bit unfortunate in my opinion, because I think it's a huge miss to actually nerf Naramaki 6 Pass. I am on the balance team, if you guys are unaware, even though, you know, it is a suggestion-based thing. So you suggest things, sometimes they get in, sometimes they don't. But I'm never really a fan of nerfing like super popular bloodlines that hard, that fast. I mean, when it comes to Naramaki 6 Pass, like I said, it is one of the most popular bloodlines in the game. Everyone uses it. It's extremely fun to use. It makes the game fun. I think the only anti-fun thing of it was the frog, in my opinion, and I think that now it's just an extremely fun bloodline, and that's why people mainly use it, just because it's really fun and it also is good simultaneously. Now coming in second place is going to be a very obvious Strange / Fate. Like I said with Bankai, if you guys go to a Shindo Life server, public server, you will see someone using Strange / Fate. It also helps that you could buy from the Rocoin shop. I'm pretty sure it is semi-rare in the RC shop, but it does pop up every now and then. And a lot of people bought Fate when it was a skin. So Strange, obviously, extremely overused. Everyone uses Strange because it's broken. I mean, the Strange mode is by far, I'm not lying when I say this, it is the best mode in the game. Strange has the best mode. You could say that because they fixed the C-Spec, it's not the best anymore, but it's still the best. I mean, like, the Q-Spec does tons of damage. It's an iframe. It hits multiple people. It's a hit stun. The C-Spec of it is like an AoE time stop that also heals back all the damage you dealt. The M1s do tons of damage, and they don't knock people back. So, and you could fly with it, by the way. So, I do think Strange has the best mode of the game, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people use Strange is because of the mode. Now, honorable 1 is going to be Light Jokai. I'm sure you guys have seen Light Jokai quite a bit. People tend to say Dark Jokai, you know, the people that actually use it because they don't want to seem like a nerd, but they are a nerd, by the way. If you use Light Jokai as well with Ryuji, you're in fact a nerd. I used to be a nerd because I used it. I accept that. But when it comes to Light Jokai, it is a very nerd bloodline, but it is, you know, it's still okay. They did give it the nerfs it needed, so it's not overly broken. It does fit its rarity now and all that stuff, so I do think Light Jokai is still pretty used just because a lot of people had it before they nerfed it. Now, our version 2 is going to be Bankai Inferno. Now, the reason why this is going to be in here is actually very, you know, specific. It falls in and out of the meta. Sometimes you'll see it everywhere, sometimes you don't. It's one of those bloodlines that just a simple meta change will make it so everyone's using this bloodline, and it's just one of those things. Sometimes you see it literally everywhere, and sometimes you do not see any Bankai Inferno users quite literally at all. It's just one of those bloodlines that you either everyone uses it or nobody uses it. So there's a couple other bloodlines that are like that. Like I would say Vengeance is kind of like that a little bit. Eastwood kind of came back in the meta for a little bit. People stopped using it. Minakaze is another one of those. You know, there's just a lot of bloodlines that people tend to use all at once, and then they just randomly fall out of the meta, like Dokai 2 and stuff like that. So I think this is definitely one of those bloodlines. But yeah, guys, what is the bloodline that you guys seem to see the most of the game? What is the most popular bloodline in your guys' opinion? Feel free to comment below. We'll be checking them out. Now, coming in first place is going to obviously be Mud. Mud, the most broken bloodline in the game. Oh my gosh, it's so broken. No, okay, that's a joke. It's gonna be Xeno Dokai. Now, I'm sure, you know, this is actually, I'm sure a lot of people did not expect this because they were looking at this list being like, oh, it's PvP based. No, it's just top 10 bloodlines that everyone uses, and Xeno Dokai, everyone uses it. I'm not lying when I say this. If anyone does PvE content, they have a Xeno Dokai. 90% of the people in this game own, like, probably own the bloodline pack, and they have a Xeno Dokai, and they always use it for PvE content. You will always see a Xeno Dokai. It's just one of those bloodlines. I find it so funny because you would think, oh yeah, you know, it's a PvP based game and all that stuff. No, Xeno Dokai is the most used bloodline. It is the bloodline I have personally seen the most as well. I see this bloodline everywhere. Whenever there is a grind in a game, you will see a Xeno Dokai user spitting out those blood bubbles from their face and all that stuff. So yeah, Xeno Dokai is definitely the most used bloodline in the game. I don't think anyone could argue with that either. Like, I don't think people, I think Like, when you think of this list, you don't really think of, like, oh, you know, PvE bloodlines. No, but, like, Xenodokai, like, everyone uses this, man. And I think it fits this list perfectly. Now, a few more I wanted to add on to this list, but, you know, I don't really want to make it, like, top 15 or anything like that. So I'm just going to throw them in on here at the end. Just a little bit of extras, just so you guys know what's popular and what's not. Shindai Ren, obviously a very used bloodline. Not that many people use it, actually, because it's actually very hard to get. It was glitched for a really long time, and the reason why it's not actually going to be in the list is because a lot of people actually do not even own Shindai Ren. Most of the people that own it have Yang because they bought the skin and they got it from the Roku shop when that was possible. But yeah, nobody really grinds the boss ever, and it was glitched so it would not drop for an extremely long time, like 8 months, I'm pretty sure, 6 to 8 months. So the only reason why people don't really use it because it's not that people don't have it. Now another one's going to be Diva Ren. Obviously this was the newest rework, so people tend to be using this a lot. That's kind of the only reason. It is a very cool bloodline as well. Now a few more I'll just add on real quick without like you know, explaining that much. Obviously you have Renshiki. It's a rework that happened recently. You have stuff like Ryan Ren, always has been popular. Maki always has been popular. So yeah, there's some extras. Anyways, guys, that should be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe. Bye bye.